Good morning and welcome to this keratoprosthesis session, and it's very good introduction by Dr. Cheng about the keratoprosthesis, and I'll share the experience of surgeons in India about using the keratoprosthesis or the Boston keratoprosthesis. Give you an example of this young lady who had bilateral chemical burn when she was age 10, and then she underwent on both eyes allograft, which worked for 3 to 4 years, and then failed because she could not afford the immunosuppression, and also there is a concern about the potential side effects as she is growing. So she ended up having both corneas like this with a total loss of vision, and then she has to be dropped out of the school. Finally, in 2010 we did a keratoprosthesis, which is now 2 years old, and she maintains 20/20 and N6 and back to the school. She wants something to be done for the right eye, which I'm not sure what I should do. At the moment, we're just holding off and saying that, well, let's just work with one eye. Now contrast this with another young lady, same story, bilateral acid injury, acid assault, underwent amniotic membrane transplantation in both eyes in the acute phase and healed well over a period of next 6 to 8 months. And then I faced the same situation a year and a half later, that what should I do with that? Should I do the cell-based therapy or should I do a K-Pro? I chose a K-Pro mainly because she is in a stage that she has to carry on with her education, and this in one eye, the Boston K-Pro in July of 2009, and now it's 3-year follow-up where she has not developed any complications, fortunately, and she maintains absolutely very good vision in one eye. So the need for keratoprosthesis, as we know, would be in situations where you see the corneas which are like this. On the left side are the wet eyes, and on the right side is the dry or keratinized surface. So the situation, two different situations and different kind of keratoprosthesis we choose, and the keratinized surface will be covered by Chris Liu about MOOKP. The indications for keratoprosthesis are expanding, and the most of the indications are grouped in like where we have a poor or guarded prognosis, like in immune-mediated diseases, or chemical burns are fair, and good prognosis are mostly the corneal condition. Most of our indications are chemical burn and less of the failed grafts. These are further studies published indicating that in the Western countries, the majority of the K-Pros are done for failed grafts and where we don't have any other oculoinflammatory conditions. As I said, and it's pointed out in Tony's publication last year, that chemical burns is a substantial part of our indications. Another group of indications, at least I have done, is in patients with Murren's ulcer who have been on treatment, as well as on patients with bilateral limbal stem cell deficiency in patients with VKC. And these are some of the early results that we had published. To give another example of this 6-year-old male who had bilateral Chuna or Lyme paste injury, and he was 6-year-old, and he underwent multiple surgeries, including the limbal allografts in both eyes, twice, cultivated oral mucosal epithelial transplant, and keratoplasty. With that, he had continued off and on good vision to continue the school, but about 10 years later, he reached a stage that her corneas looked like this and did not have enough vision to continue school. At this stage, we did in one eye Boston keratoprosthesis, the technique of which is demonstrated here, where you take the donor cornea and you punch a 3mm hole for the optical cylinder to fit in, and then you decide whether you are taking 9mm or longer of the donor's head, depending on your recipient definition. So the loading part is fairly simple once you have seen. The rest of the surgery is like your corneal transplant. This boy has been maintaining good vision in that eye 2040 with a pinhole 2030, and now he's doing his postgraduate education, and fortunately for him that he had no complication whatsoever, and a 3-year follow-up. Similarly, this patient with Moran's ulcer had been having immunosuppression for a long time. I've done at least 2 or more grafts in each eye, tectonic grafts, patch grafts, and then reached a stage that he doesn't have a useful vision. Underwent Boston K-Pro, and we continued to be on Visalon daily 5 milligram and methotrexate weekly, and he's been having 20/50 vision, and now he also has about 2 years follow-up. This is a patient with vernal catarrh, had bilateral limbal stem cell deficiency, and had undergone multiple limbal allografts from both parents at different point in time from 2003 until 2009. And he underwent a limbal, the Boston keratoprosthesis. He continues to be on daily dose of cyclosporine, and he maintains 20/25. In his case, he developed glaucoma after 2 years, which was a tube implant was done to control that glaucoma. In our series, we have till February 2012 about 43 eyes of 41 patients, and the most of these patients, or 50% of them, have chemical burns, 40% multiple failed grafts, but in many of them also underlying condition is the chemical burns, PUK and VKC, and failed K-Pros, 2 of them. The technique of assembly and technique of doing the surgery is demonstrated here. What I want to highlight is that this video I'm showing is that we should try to do a partial trephination through the pannus or through the vascularized area, partial trephination, leave it for some time when you are doing the assembly part so that the bleeding is stopped and you don't have much of any bleeding inside the anterior chamber. Then do your ECC or remove the lens, even if it is clear, and then rest of the time either you can leave the patient aphakic or you can put a zero power lens. Or if there is already pseudophakic patient, then you don't need to change the lens if it is if you are satisfied with the positioning and everything else. And then you put your K-Pro together and make sure that you examine it under microscope, that the titanium ring is sitting where it should be and everything is in place. And then you do the bring it on assembled part on the recipient area, and then suture like what you will do for your corneal transplant. As usual, there is not really much different way of doing it. The post-op treatment consists of topical steroids, one of the fluoroquinolones, vancomycin or polymyxin, a bandage contact lens, and I think it's very critical as I show you my complications that most of the complications were related to losing the contact lens. And in patients where the indication is underlying immune-mediated disease of the surface, then we need to continue the immunosuppressive medications, and we need to carefully follow for glaucoma infection melting by doing all the imaging studies. In this publication, many of colleagues from India participated and gave data to share data with Tony all the way. There are more people who are doing, like Dr. Radhika Rangan from All India Institute, Dr. Geeta Iyer in Chennai, there's Dr. Rajesh Fogla in Hyderabad, Quresh in Bombay. So many there are people who are doing, and it's very good option for this in the end stage diseases where everything else has failed. The results are not much different other than the incidence of endophthalmitis, and I think that can be reduced with the further fine-tuning our post-operative management. Similarly, the retention rates and the visual acuity improvements are comparable with that series, and as we have longer follow-up and experience, we should continue to contribute to the literature. This is a brief analysis of our patients, which a retention rate of 77% at mean follow-up of 10 months, and explantation rate was 21%, auto expulsion 2. And this is one of the patient who lives just outside Hyderabad, and he did not come for almost 1 year. And he came up with this, he said something came out of the eye. So having the careful follow-up is very critical, and the rate of complication, retroprosthetic membrane is 3 eyes. And late last year, there was a paper where I read that chemical injury seems to be a protective against the retroprosthetic membrane. I don't know whether it is true or not, but we will have to wait and watch how this complication develops over a period of time. RD in one eye, 4 eyes had end off, and all these had a relation with the losing of contact lens and surface breakdown, and then going to about 36% had developed glaucoma, and 1/3 of those then needed tube. So in summary, the Boston keratoprosthesis provides a good functional and cosmetic outcomes. Choose the right patient requires lifelong and rigorous post-op care, and we want to ensure that these patients have a regular follow-up. They have a compliance to your medication, and we need to manage the complications whatever the time of the day or night they are presented. Thank you very much for your kind attention.